As I said this morning, there are some things that just shouldn't do, be foolish to do, such as running red lights, such as speeding on the highway, such as cutting in and out of cars. There's other things as well. You don't play Russian roulette unless you want to die. There's things that just going to have consequences whenever we do them if we continue doing them sooner or later. Well, there's consequences in the spiritual realm too, only there's no odds in those matters. There's no chance if we go into sin or we stay in sin. There's things that we should not do if we want our souls to be clean, if we want our souls to be whole, if we want to enter into heaven. We talked about one of those things this morning, and that was you don't deny God. If you deny God, you cannot be saved. There's no way that you can enter into heaven. And now we want to consider some others, such as we should not rebel against God. Saul did when he brought King Agag back from his battle with the Amalekites. And he brought back the livestock as well. And he said that we're going to offer this livestock unto God. Now, all that sounds good. We're going to make a sacrifice to God. We're going to show him how grateful we are that he gave us this victory. And we could say, what a wonderful attitude. But you know, it wasn't a wonderful attitude because God said to destroy them all. Man cannot change God's commands. You cannot rebel against God. Samuel told Saul in 1 Samuel 15, verses 22 through 23, hath the Lord of greatest delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices is in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he also hath rejected thee from being king. When we reject God and we reject his word, we are in fact rebelling against him and his authority. I don't care how high up we think we are. I don't care how many of us agree to do this or to change that or whatever. If it's contrary to God's word, it is sin and it is rebellion. We read of others who rebelled against God and his authority, but we realize also that under that time there was a penalty for doing so. We read in Hebrews 2, verses 1 through 3. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip. For if the word spoken by angels, that's talking about that Old Testament covenant, was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward, how shall we escape? If we neglect so great salvation, which at the first began to be spoken by the Lord, it was confirmed unto us by them that heard him. And so we have this. If they were punished so severely and so quickly, and the punishment was so sure under that Old Testament law that God gave, how much more so under the perfect law of liberty? How much more so under the New Testament, a better testament with greater hope and greater promises, but also the promise of punishment for those who do rebel. We understand that under the Old Testament, God had all authority, as we said, but now under the New Testament, God has authority in the second person of the Godhead, Jesus Christ. In Matthew 28, verse 18, Jesus came and spake unto the apostles, saying, all power, all authority unto me in heaven and in earth. Jesus has all authority. The only one who's not under Jesus is the Father himself, 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. We shouldn't rebel against God's Son, Jesus Christ. After all, Jesus did make it plain. He made it very clear. John 12, he that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words, that hath one that judgeth him. The word that I've spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. So there's no gray area in which we can say, okay, denominationalism is okay. Playing mechanical instrumental music is okay. Doing this or doing that that's not authorized in God's word is all right. Because Jesus Christ is the authority. And his word is the standard, you see. We're going to be judged by that word. If we go beyond it, if we fall short of it, then we will be sent to eternal torment in hell. Jesus is King and Lord of Lords. The Lamb, Lord,